The Golden Thread by Norman Macleod from the Rare Lamplighter Collector Series. Chapter 2. Philip, arrayed in dark blue attire with a leather band around his waist and his fair locks in silken curls that waved from his beautiful head, steadied his white-spotted stallion as the king gave the final instructions and blessing upon the young contestants. It was a race and a hunt which sometimes lasted for days, but for the king it was more than a hunt. It was a test of faith, obedience, and honor. He knew Philip was a good son, but his zeal for winning often outweighed his good sense. The king paused as he looked upon the lads. "Remember the lessons of the golden thread, and take heed to its many boundaries." The contest was about to begin as the trumpeter raised his instrument. At the first sound the horses and their riders were off. What a spectacle! The people were shouting and cheering for their favorite rider as they watched them disappear into the distance. Some rode into the mountain, and others to the streams, but the bravest knew that the largest trophy would be found in the forest. It was straight to the forest for Philip. With the golden thread in one hand and the reins in the other, he was determined to bring back the largest trophy ever, for he was the son of the king. Philip was fond of the chase. He had been with his father on several hunts, but never by himself. He was more skillful than any other youth in the kingdom, and his persevering spirit destined him to greatness. He was admired by all, but his father was fully aware of Philip's weakness, his strength. Philip had not yet learned that one's greatest strength could also be their most damaging weakness. It was this that his father feared the most, but King Arius knew that the lessons of the golden thread could only be learned by experience, and the cost of experience could be greater far for some than others. The Golden Thread by Norman Macleod from a Rare Lamplighter Collector Series. Chapter 2. Philip, arrayed in dark blue attire with a leather band around his waist and his fair locks in silken curls that waved from his beautiful head, steadied his white-spotted stallion as the king gave the final instructions and blessing upon the young contestants. It was a race and a hunt which sometimes lasted for days, but for the king it was more than a hunt. It was a test of faith, obedience, and honor. He knew Philip was a good son, but his zeal for winning often outweighed his good sense. The king paused as he looked upon the lads. "Remember the lessons of the golden thread, and take heed to its many boundaries." The contest was about to begin as the trumpeter raised his instrument. At the first sound the horses and their riders were off. What a spectacle! The people were shouting and cheering for their favorite rider as they watched them disappear into the distance. Some rode into the mountain and others to the streams, but the bravest knew that the largest trophy would be found in the forest. It was straight to the forest for Philip. With the gold thread in one hand and the rein in the other, he was determined to bring back the largest trophy ever, for he was the son of the king. Philip was fond of the chase. He had been with his father on several hunts, but never by himself. He was more skillful than any other youth in the kingdom, and his persevering spirit destined him to greatness. He was admired by all, but his father was fully aware of Philip's weakness, his strength. Philip had not yet learned that one's greatest strength could also be their most damaging weakness. It was this that his father feared the most, but King Arius knew that the lessons of the thread could only be learned by experience, and the cost of experience could be greater for some than others. Deep into the forest, Philip spotted the largest stag he had ever seen. All of his boyhood dreams were coming true before his very eyes. Breathlessly, he drew back his bow with accurate aim and released. It was a direct hit into the side of the stag. Startled and staggering, the stag began to run as a victim flees from his pursuers. Philip rode furiously after his trophy, and without realizing the approaching danger, had traveled miles past the safe boundaries of the golden thread. For one's pursuits sometimes outweigh the dangers, as one's passion for gain becomes greater than reason. But Philip was determined to capture his trophy. He would be the hero of the great celebration. Deeper and deeper he rode until he could finally ride no more. The forest had become so dense that his horse began to be startled. Losing all sense of direction, Philip began to call out for the help, but only heard the silence of the forest. He had forgotten his first and most important lesson. The golden thread would only be found by those who call out of a pure heart. His horse had jolted from his grasp, but Philip cared not, for the forest was too dense to ride. Running this way and that, Prince Philip found an opening of meadow, but was discouraged when he found that it was surrounded by the thick forest. His hands and face were scratched, and his clothes torn with the briars as he ran here and there, like one much perplexed. Sometimes he made his way through tangled brushwood, or crossed the little grassy plains in the forest, now losing himself in the dark ravines, then climbing up their steep sides, or crossing with difficulty the streams that hurried through them. For a long time he kept his heart up, and always said to himself, "I shall find it! I shall find it!" Until, as the day advanced, he was wearied and hungry, and every now and then he cried, "Oh, my father! Where is my father? I'm lost! I'm lost!" Or, "Where, oh, where is the golden thread?" All day the forest seemed to him to be very sad. He had never seen it so gloomy. There was a strange sorrow in the rustle of the leaves, and a sadness in the noise of the streams. He did not hear the birds sing as they used to do, but he heard the ravens croak with their hoarse voice as their black forms swept along the precipices which here and there rose above the trees. The large hawks, too, seemed appeared to be wheeling over his head, pausing and fluttering as if about to dart down upon him. But on Philip journeyed, in the hope of finding his way out of the boundless forest, or of meeting someone who would be his guide. At last the sun appeared to be near its setting, and he could see the high branches of the trees shining like gold as its last rays fell upon them. But underneath, the foliage was getting darker and darker. The birds were preparing to sleep, and everything soon became so still that he could hear his steps echoing through the wood. And when he stopped, he heard his heart beating, or a leaf falling. But nowhere did he see a house, and no human being had he met since morning. Then the wind suddenly began to rise, and he heard it at first creeping along the tree-tops like a gentle whisper, and by to call louder and louder for the storm to come. Dark clouds gathered over the sky, and rushed along, chased by the winds that were soon to fight with the giant trees. At last he sat down at the root of a great old oak, burying his face in his hands, not knowing what to do. He then tried to climb the tree in order to spend the night among its branches, in case wild beasts should attack him. But as he was climbing it, he heard someone singing with a loud voice. Listening attentively, and looking eagerly through the leaves, he saw a boy apparently older than himself, dressed in rough, shaggy clothes, made from skins of wild animals. His long matted hair escaped over his cheeks from under a black bearskin cap. With a short thick stick, he was driving a herd of swine through the woods. "Hey there, you black porker!" cried the boy, as he threw a stone at some pig which was running away. "Get along, you lazy long snout!" he shouted to another as he came thump on its back with a cudgel, and then he sung this song with a loud voice which made the woods ring. "Oh, there's nothing half so fine as to drive a herd of swine, and through the forest toddle with nothing in my noddle. But rub-a-dub-dub, rub-a-dub, hey up, halloo! When I wish to have some fun, then I make the porkers run, till they gallop, snort, and wheeze among the leafy trees. Oh, rub-a-dub, rub-dub, hey up, halloo! How their backs begin to bristle when I shout aloud and whistle, how they kick at every lick that I give them with my stick. Oh, rub-a-dub, rub-dub, hey up, halloo!" "Get along, you rascals!" cried the savage-looking herd, "or I'll kill and roast you before your time." But soon the herd with his swine were concealed from Philip's sight by the woods, though he still heard his rub-a-dub chorus, to which he beat time with a sort of rude drum made with a dried skin and a hoop. Philip determined to make his acquaintance, or at all events, to follow him to some house, so he descended from the tree, and ran off in the direction from which he heard the song coming. He soon overtook him. "Hullo!" said the wild-looking lad, with as much astonishment as if Philip had fallen from the clouds. "Who? Where from? Where to?" "I have lost my way in the wood," said Philip, "and I want you to guide me." "To Malden?" asked the swineherd. "Malden? Pray, who is he?" "Master, chief, captain, king, everything, everybody," replied the young savage. "I will go anywhere for shelter, as night is coming on, but I will reward you if you bring me to my father's house." "Who is your father, my fine fellow?" inquired the swineherd, leaning on his stick. "The king," replied Philip. "You lie, sir, prince. Malden is king." "I speak the truth, swineherd." The swineherd by this time was examining Philip's dress with an impudent look. "Take me now," said he. "Give me this gold band, and I will guide you." "I cannot give you this gold band, for my father gave it to me, and I have lost enough today. By the by, did you see a gold thread waving anywhere among the trees?" "A gold thread? What do you mean? I saw nothing but pigs until I saw you, and I shall treat you like a pig, do you hear? And lick you too, for I have no time to put off. So give me your band. Come, be quick," said he, with his fierce face, and holding up his stick as he came up to Philip. "Keep off, swineherd! Don't touch me." "Don't touch you? Why shouldn't I touch you? Don't you see this stick? How would you like to have it among your fine curls as I drive it among the pig's bristles?" And he began to flourish it over his head, and to press nearer and nearer. "Once, twice, when I say thrice, if you do not unbuckle, I shall save you the trouble, and leave you to the wild beasts, who would like a tender bit of prince's flesh better than pork. Come, once, twice." Philip was on his guard, and said, "I shall fight you, you young robber, till death, rather than give you this band, so keep off." "Thrice," shouted the herd, and down came his thick cudgel, which he intended should fall on Philip's head, but Philip sprang aside, and before he could recover himself, dashed in upon him, tripped him up, and threw him on the grass, seizing him by the throat in a moment. The herd, in his efforts to get out of Philip's grasp, let go his cudgel, which Philip seized and held over his head. "Unless you'll promise, Master Swineherd, to leave me alone, I may leave you alone with the wild beasts." "You are stronger than I thought," said the herd. "Let me up, or I shall be choked. Let me up, I say, and I promise to guide you." "I shall trust you," said Philip, "though you would not trust me. Rise." So the herd rose and picked up his cap, but Philip would not give him his stick until he guided him to some house. "Come along," said he sulkily. "What is your name?" asked Philip. "They call me Wolf. I killed a wolf once with my boar spear." "Why, Wolf, did you try to kill me?" "Because I wanted your gold belt." "But it is a great sin to rob and kill." "Other people rob me and would kill me too, if I did not take care of their pigs," said Wolf carelessly. "You should fear God, Wolf." "I fear that name truly, for Malden always swears by it when he is in a rage, but I do not know what it means." "Oh, Wolf, surely your father and mother told you about God, who made all things, and made you and me, God who loves us and wishes us to love him and to do what is right?" "I have no father or mother," replied Wolf, "nor brothers or sisters, and I do not know God. No one cares for me but my pigs, and so I sleep with them and eat with them." "Poor fellow," said Philip with a look of kindness. "I am sorry for you. Here is all the money that I have. Take it. I wish to show you that I have no ill will to you." And Philip gave him a gold coin. Wolf gave a grunt like one of his pigs, and began his song of rub-a-dub. "No one ever gave me money before," remarked Wolf, almost to himself, as he examined the coin on his rough hand, which looked like tan leather. "How much is this?" inquired Wolf. Philip explained its value. The herd was astonished, and began to think what he could purchase with it. "It would buy a large pig," he said. He seemed very anxious to conceal the coin, and so he hid it in the top of his hairy cap. "See that tall tower," said Wolf, "which looks like a rock above the trees? That is the only house near for 20 miles round. You can reach it soon, and when you do reach it," said Wolf, speaking low, as if someone might hear him, "take my advice, and get away as fast as you can from my master Malden, for—" and Wolf gave a number of winks, as much as to say, "I know something." "What do you mean?" asked Philip. "Oh, nothing. But take Wolf's advice, and say to Malden you are a beggar. Put the gold band in your pocket, and swear to remain with him, but run off when you can. Cheat him, that's my way." "It is not my way," replied Philip, "and come what may, I never can be, for a voice says to me, 'Better to die than ever to lie.'" "Ha, ha!" said Wolf. "I wish you lived with Malden. He would teach you another lesson, my lad." "I would rather that I had you, Wolf, to live in my house. I would be good and be kind to you, and help you to be good, and tell you about God, who lives in the sky." "And is that he who is speaking? Listen!" The thunder began to mutter in the clouds. "Yes, it is he," replied Philip, "and if you will only listen, you can also hear him often speak with a small, still voice in your heart. I cannot stay longer with you, for my pigs wander. There is a black rascal who always leads them astray. Now, King's son, give Wolf the stick. It is all he has. Here, it is to you, and I am sure you will not use it wrongly. You will try and be good, Wolf, for it will make you happy." "Humph," said Wolf. I am happy when I get my pigs home, and Malton does not strike me, but I must away, and see you don't tell anyone you gave me money. They would rob me." And away he ran among the trees in search of his pigs, while Philip heard his little drum and his song of rub-a-dub, "Halloo!" die away in the distance. Another loud peal and flashing of lightning towards the light which now beamed from the tower, but he thought to himself, "I am much worse than that poor wolf, for I knew what was right and did not do it. I heard the voice but did not attend to it. Oh, my father, why did I not obey you?"